Patriots. Richie here with Statifying Football. This is the weekday games for Week 11 for the NFL and Week 12 for the college football week. There's a lot for college, so let's start with the NFL here. The New England Patriots take on the Atlanta Falcons. New England, they destroyed Cleveland 45-7. Mac Jones, 198 passing yards, 3 touchdown passes. Ramondre Stevenson, 100 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns. They had 452 total yards and 5 sacks in that game. Atlanta, conversely, they got destroyed by Dallas 43-3. They couldn't do anything right. Matt Ryan was 9 of 21 for 117 yards, 2 interceptions. Josh Rosen, the awful one, was 1 of 6 for 14 yards and a pick. They had 3 turnovers. The only good thing about them was their defensive player, Foyesade Oluokun, had 14 tackles. I expect this to be a bit closer. I think Atlanta is better than what they showed there, but New England's really good. They're going on at least a playoff run. I think New England will end up winning the game, but I do think it would actually be a lot closer than a lot of people think. All right, going over to the college games. There's a bunch of games this week starting on Tuesday. A lot of action going on. Bowling Green taking Miami of Ohio. Bowling Green last week, they lost 49-17 to Toledo. Matt McDonald, only 65 passing yards and a touchdown. They only had 196 total yards. Dan Anders had 12 tackles. Trent Simmons had 11 tackles. And Brock Horn had 10 tackles. Miami of Ohio, they beat Buffalo 45-18. Miami of Ohio is right there for the thick of things for their side of the division to play for the MAC title game, and they're 1 win away from bowl eligibility. They beat Buffalo 45-18. Brett Gabbert, 351, 4 touchdown passes. Jalen Walker, 7 catches, 136 yards and a touchdown. Jack Sorensen, 5 catches, 112 yards and a touchdown. They had 536 total yards of offense. Defensively, they forced 4 turnovers. Matthew Salopek had 12 tackles and a pass defense, and Ivan Pace had 10 tackles. Bowling Green has been kind of a weird team, but I don't expect them to be able to beat Miami of Ohio. I think Miami of Ohio, they're a good team. They're trying to play into the MAC championship game, at the very least get to a bowl game, and I think they will with this game. I think Miami of Ohio wins. Western Michigan and Eastern Michigan, big rivalry and a big game in the MAC there. Could be pretty high scoring game. Western Michigan, they beat Akron last week 45-40 in a great, awesome game. Caleb Ellaby, 217 passing, 2 touchdowns and an interception, and ran for a touchdown. Sean Tyler ran for 147 and a touchdown and had a kick return for a touchdown and had 533 total yards. Eastern Michigan was upset by Ohio 34-26. Bent Bryant 41-57, 354, a touchdown and a pick. Tanner Canoe, 11 catches, 127 yards. Terry Myrick, 12 tackles, half a tackle for loss, and a pass defense. I think this is going to go back and forth, but I think Western Michigan both have good quarterbacks, Ben Bryant and Caleb Ellaby. But I do think in the end it will be Western Michigan that gets that win there. But that game is literally going to come down to the wire, maybe on a last second score of some kind. All right, and then you got Toledo and Ohio. Toledo, they beat Bowling Green 49-17. DeQuan Finn, 270 passing yards, 3 touchdown passes, plus 30 rushing yards, and 2 touchdowns rushing. Bryant Koback, 121 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns, 539 total yards. Defensively had 5 sacks and only allowed 196 yards. Ohio, they're better than their record is. They've been playing teams well. They beat a pretty good Eastern Michigan team 34-26. Curtis Rourke passed for 230, 3 touchdowns, and ran for 55 yards. They ran for 268 as a team. Alvin Floyd had 12 tackles, and Bryce Houston had 11 tackles, a half sack, and a half tackle for loss. While I think Ohio, they are better. They probably will keep this close. I think Toledo just DeQuan Finn has been great lately. Their offense has been phenomenal, and I think Toledo wins that game. All right, then the Wednesday MAC games. You got Northern Illinois and Buffalo. Northern Illinois, it was an awesome game against Ball State, back and forth. They got a field goal at the end to win 30-29, pretty much wrapping up their side of the division to go play for the MAC title. Northern Illinois, Rocky Lombardi passed for 264, touchdown and a pick. Jay Ducker ran for 155 and a touchdown. Trayvon Rudolph, 8 catches, 108. And Cole Tucker had 6 catches, 103 yards and a touchdown. Buffalo, they got killed by Miami of Ohio 45-18. They weren't very good at all. Van Treese, 151 and an interception. Matt Myers, 76 yards and a touchdown. Keon Williams, 9 catches, 104 and a touchdown, but they turn over 4 times. They can't do that against Northern Illinois. Corey Gross chipped in, had 13 tackles defensively. Buffalo's kind of a weird team. They can turn it on with their running game, and they could possibly upset Northern Illinois. I don't think they will. I do think it may be kind of a close game. I think Northern Illinois will win that one. All right, Ball State and Central Michigan, big one for in the MAC. Ball State, they lost in a last-second field goal to Northern Illinois 30-29. Drew Plitt was only 11-26 for 126 and a touchdown. Carson Steele ran for 109. Defensively, had a blocked punt that went through the end zone for a safety. Jalen Thomas had 15 tackles. Brandon Martin had 10 tackles. And Bryce Cosby, 10 tackles and a half tackle for loss. Central Michigan, they beat Kent State 54-30. They were actually down in that game 14-0 and then scored a touchdown, I think, on 6 straight possessions. At one point, Daniel Richardson, 268, 4 touchdowns. Lou Nichols, 43 carries for 215 yards, 4 rushing touchdowns. They had 505 total yards defensively, forced 3 turnovers with 10 tackles by Gage Kresge. This is going to be a fun game back and forth. Whatever the over-under is, go over. I'm kind of leaning towards Central Michigan. Lou Nichols at running back. Daniel Richardson is a good quarterback. Ball State can pass it all around the field. Central Michigan can just move it all around the field. I think it's going to be high scoring, but in the end, I think Central Michigan can get a lead and then salt it away late in the game with Lou Nichols running out. Central Michigan winning that one. All right, Thursday night game between Louisville and Duke. Louisville destroyed Syracuse 41-3. Malik Cunningham, 209 passing, 4 touchdown passes, and 1 rushing touchdown. Jalen Mitchell ran for 102. Defensively, had 4 sacks in that game. Duke couldn't get anything going against Virginia Tech. They lost 48-17. Riley Leonard at quarterback, 7 of 16 for 84 yards and 30 rushing yards. Jordan Moore, 63 passing yards and a touchdown, and ran for 113 yards and a touchdown there. I don't think this will really be close. Louisville, they want that bowl eligibility, 1 win away. I think they get it against Duke, and I think they win pretty big against Duke. All right, then Friday, there's actually like 5 college games on Friday, starting with the Southern Miss Golden Eagles and Louisiana Tech Bulldogs. Neither of them can get to a bowl, but USM played UTSA really tough. They were up 17-10. They only ended up losing 27-17. Frank Gore, the running back, weirdly enough, he actually started at quarterback. He was 2 of 3 for 33 yards. He did run for 123 yards and a touchdown. But overall, they only had 189 total yards, 3 turnovers, and 16 penalties in that game. They had a pick 6, which gave them a brief lead against UTSA. Louisiana Tech had a small upset, I would say, against Charlotte. Charlotte's looking for a bowl game. Louisiana Tech was already out of eligibility, but they won 42-32. Aaron Allen, 324, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Marcus Williams went off for 131 rushing yards and 4 rushing touchdowns. They had 504 total yards. I think Louisiana Tech does it again. I don't think USM, out of Frank Gore, they don't have enough offensively to keep up, and I think Louisiana Tech gets the win there. All right, Memphis and Houston, big game in the American. This could be a really high-scoring game. Memphis, they lost in overtime to ECU, 30-29. Memphis, they tried to go for 2 to just win the game outright against ECU. They could not get it. Seth Hennigan passed for 233, 3 touchdowns, and ran for 61 yards. Defensively, they had 6 sacks in a game. Tyrese Lindsey had 13 tackles. J.A. Russell, 12 tackles in a pass defense. And Rodney Owens had 11 tackles. Houston did pretty much what they wanted against Temple. They won 37-8. Clayton Tune, 224, 2 touchdowns. Alton McCaskill ran for 129 and 2 touchdowns. And they forced 3 turnovers in that game. Houston's really good. They're trying to play for the American title. Memphis has the offense to keep up. Like I said, this should go back and forth. But I think in the end, Houston has a little bit of a better running game than Memphis, and can maybe salt that game if they can get a lead. I got Houston winning a shootout there. Arizona and Washington State. Arizona, they kept up with Utah. They lost 38-29. Will Plummer, 223 passing, a touchdown, and ran for 50 yards and a touchdown. They had a blocked punt return for a touchdown. Jerry Roberts had 10 tackles and 1.5 tackles for loss. Washington State hung tough against Oregon. They lost the 38-24. Jaden Delora, 280 passing, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and ran for a touchdown. Travell Harris, 8 catches, 109 and a touchdown. They turned it over 3 times, which hurt them against Oregon. And Jahad Woods, one of the best linebackers in the Pac-12, had 12 tackles himself. I think Arizona is a much improved team this year, but Washington State, they've shown they can play hard against the tough boys. They could have possibly beaten Oregon last week. They also are trying to get to bowl eligibility. They're 1 win away. I think they will be able to get it against Arizona. Washington State wins. All right, big game in the Mountain West. Air Force and Nevada. Both teams, I think they're still trying for. I'd have to look at the Mountain West standings for the Mountain West title game, but both might still be alive in it. Air Force beat Colorado State 35-21. Zeke Daniels was only 4 of 11, but passed for 121 and 2 touchdowns. Brad Roberts ran for 151 and 2 touchdowns. DeAndre Hughes ran for 108. They ran for 388 yards in that triple option offense, put up 509 total yards. Camby Goff, 10 tackles, a half tackle for loss, and 2 passes defense. Nevada, they lost a close game against San Diego State 23-21. Carson Strong passed for 350 yards and 3 touchdowns. Romeo Dubs, 9 catches, 127, and 2 touchdowns. This is the kind of game they're diametrically opposite offenses. Nevada runs the air sprayed offense like Mike Leach likes to at Mississippi State. Nevada passes it all around. Whereas Air Force, they're trying to slow the game down. They run the triple option. They run it almost every play. I'm kind of leaning towards Air Force here. Sort of the same way with San Diego State. San Diego State doesn't have a triple option that they run a lot and they run it well, and they have one of the top defenses nationally in the country. That's how they were able to keep that high-flying offense for Nevada off the field and keep it close and then win. I think Air Force may be able to do the same. They have a really good defense. They have the running game. I think it still could be, it should be a close game. Both teams are very good, but I think Air Force in the end will win it. And then the final game, UNLV and San Diego State. UNLV got their first win in a while. They beat Hawaii 27-13. Cam Friel, 172, 2 interceptions. It was all about Charles Williams, who ran for 266 yards, 3 rushing touchdowns. They turned it over 3 times. They can't do that against San Diego State. Kyle Bundry chipped in with 10 tackles. San Diego State, they remain only 1 loss. They remain ranked. They beat a good Nevada team 23-21 on a late field goal. Lucas Johnson got a little bit passing going. They don't pass very well, but he did pass for 176 and 2 touchdowns, or a touchdown. Sorry. Greg Bell ran for 104. Cam Thomas, 10 tackles, 2 sacks, 3.5 tackles for loss. I think San Diego State should be able to win. Their defense, like I said, one of the best in the country. They got a solid running game, a really good overall team. As long as they can slow down Charles Williams for UNLV, which is that's pretty much all UNLV has, San Diego State shouldn't have too much trouble with UNLV. So those are my picks for the weekday, the NFL, and the college game. Check out my other videos later. Peace.